Should you be excited for Hogwarts Legacy? Short answer, yes, absolutely. Long answer, well, it's a little more complicated than that. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always been a big fan of Harry Potter and their whole universe. I'm pretty sure that many of you are in the same boat as me, or else you probably wouldn't be watching this video. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a wizard? You just wave your magic wand once and most of your daily muggle problems are solved. Also, going to the massive, majestic and immersive Hogwarts has always been a dream of mine. And you know what else is immersive? My video games. And now imagine combining those two, Hogwarts and video games. Well, that's what Hogwarts Legacy is all about. Hogwarts Legacy is by far not the first game that tries to get a piece of the cake of the super successful Harry Potter franchise. There are a lot, and I mean a lot of Harry Potter video games already, but most of them, while not rated too bad except for some exceptions, they're not really anything to write home about. The best rated Harry Potter game so far is Lego Harry Potter Years 1 to 4. But come on, it's Lego games. Are we really gonna take them into account? The other somewhat successful Harry Potter video games were released in the early 2000s, where game studios just didn't have the capabilities to create an accurate representation of the absolute colossal that is Hogwarts. While it's really nostalgic to revisit those games, it's nowhere near comparable to the potential we have today. I mean, the controls were clunky, graphics were meh, and size, I mean, average, and it probably has a good character. It's all about technique, right? Just give it a chance. What I'm trying to say is that people absolutely love the franchise. I mean, it's the most selling game on Steam right now, and it's not even out yet. And 2023? Well, it's the perfect time to make this game, so let's take a look at the people behind Hogwarts Legacy. Avalanche Software has a pretty interesting backstory. It was founded in late '95 by John Blackburn and 3 of his former colleagues from his prior developer studio Sculptured Software. They didn't have too much of a successful history until they were acquired by Buena Vista Games, which was later renamed to Disney Interactive Studio, which I don't really get, because why wouldn't you name it that from the very beginning? I mean, you're Disney. It's free marketing in the name, but sure, whatever floats your boat. Their biggest success was probably Disney Infinity, the Skylanders type Toys to Life game, which is not only a pretty cool idea, but also a way to persuade kids into trying to get their parents into buying not only the game, but also a bazillion action figurines to play within the game. Because kids don't really care about their parents' money if they can play Cars, Monsters Inc. and The Incredibles in the same game. I mean, it's like a wet dream come true. I don't know about you, but I enjoyed the hell out of Skylanders back in my days, and even if I haven't personally played Disney Infinity myself, I'm sure that there were a lot of kids out there that had the same feelings with this game. But we're not here for Skylanders or Disney Infinity. We want to find out if Hogwarts Legacy is in good hands. So let's look at Avalanche's Metacritic history. I know. Metacritic. Why would we look at Metacritic? But do you really think I had the time or motivation to play Disney's Chicken Little or Disney's Meet the Robinsons? Who do I look like? Video game donkey? Throughout their history of releasing video games, most reviews have been mixed. Some ups, some downs, pretty normal history. But can we really trust a mediocre performing company to make a good Hogwarts game? Well, we couldn't really know, because in 2016, after realizing that the Toys to Life market does not have a bright future, Disney Infinity was shut down and it took Avalanche Software with it. Most of the employees that worked at Avalanche were hired by a tech startup company called Cast AR that focuses on combining AR and VR, which makes sense considering that they were active in the Toys to Life market. So what happened to Avalanche Software after that? Well, another acquisition by, drumroll, Warner Brothers. What a surprise. But what is surprising is that before that acquisition, Avalanche pumped out 1 to 3 games a year, but after Warner Bros. Took over, nothing. The event happened in 2017, and since then we've heard nothing. Well, except for Hogwarts Legacy. And that's where it gets interesting. Yes, it takes time to get your stuff together, hire employees, make a plan, etc, etc. But it doesn't take 5 years. What makes me really euphoric about this game, because that means that they've been fully, and I mean 100% invested in Hogwarts Legacy. I mean, if they don't have a secret project planned in the background, but I don't think that that's the case. When it comes to making games, especially AAA titles, it's really important to take your time. Because what happens when publishers are pushing you into releasing your game as fast as possible? Cyberpunk happens. You hype up the game, release a completely unfinished, buggy mess and offer refunds right after. Just think about it. If they just finished the game before releasing it, it would have been so much more successful. They would have made so much more money than they did now. Cyberpunk certainly isn't a bad game anymore, but nobody talks about it because in the audience's mind, it is the failed game of 2020. Releasing a good finished game, like for example Elden Ring or God of War Ragnarok, is the right formula. Not releasing a bad game and fixing it later. And that's exactly what I like about Warner Brothers and Hogwarts Legacy's approach. They take their time, show us gameplay and devlogs, and yes, I know they've postponed the release date a lot, and for AAA studios it's not usually a take your time thing, but rather a, well, nothing's working, so we need to keep them waiting just a little longer. But I still believe in the developers team from what we've seen so far, and when I say developers team, I mean developers team, because what the other departments are doing is questionable. I mean, let's take the marketing team for example. It's just disappointing. I mean, come on. $300 for a floating wand above a book that I could probably build myself with this €22 floating globus from AliExpress? Really? That's all you got? Let's talk about the devs. The attention to detail they've put into the game and the things that they said will be possible within the game are truly something to be excited for. And to back that up, we'll need to talk a little bit about the story and gameplay and what makes it so good. You will not only be able to explore Hogwarts itself, but also its surrounding area. As you can see here, the map is huge, and it's not even the whole map, some areas are missing here. With that said, it will be possible to visit famous stores such as Ollivander's Wand Store or Zonko's. We'll be able to explore Gringotts Bank, and what I'm most excited for is the Forbidden Forest. But of course, that's not everything that will be possible to do in the wizarding world. It's just too much to enumerate in a single video. But let's talk about Hogwarts itself. You can visit your house common area, the clock tower, central hall, the grand staircase, all of the classrooms, etc, etc. And not only that, but those locations have so much thought put into detail, which is pretty much the most important part to me, because that really shows that the developers put all their heart and soul into this. Just take a look at the common areas. We have an accurate representation of not only the tunnel entrance to the Gryffindor's commoner room, but also the warmth and the pride and courage of its students. The elegancy in Ravenclaw's intelligence is perfectly depicted. The details in Hufflepuff's honey-colored bedside tables that we've never seen in the movies, nor was it really described in the books, but it's still a part of the lore. And of course, Slytherin's badass look with an entrance so epic it blows any blockbuster out of the house. So much attention to detail in every area that they've shown us in the gameplay previews really makes you excited for what's more to come. You might argue that that's a double-edged sword and they only show you the things that you want to see in previews and the rest of the game is just bland, but I don't believe that that will be the case, but we'll just have to wait and see for ourselves. But as I said, the game is massive and the developers stated that
everything that you see is a place that you can visit.
And this is a good thing to have, because just looking out the window and seeing a location and knowing I will be there when the time comes, or I'll just go there now because I can do it, it's a really nice open world thing to have. There is also going to be lots of customization options, as you're going to be able to choose your own house, customize your own wand, and the character creator looks awesome. The only thing that doesn't seem to be adjustable is the body size, so no thick witches with big booba, which certainly is a shame, but you can be bald, Asmongold. The gameplay itself looks promising. You have a dynamically changing world depending on the choices you make in the game. It's not particularly a morality system as the devs stated, like we've seen in, for example, Demon's Souls, but it certainly changes some things in the game and lets you be a good wizard or a jerk or whatever else you want to be. Hell, it lets you make a decision on whether or not you want to use dark magic. From what we've seen, you can even use the infamous Avada Kedavra spell, and the game also lets you murder and torture other wizards? Man, sign me up. What I'm trying to say here is that there's probably going to be a lot of ways that you can play the game. I think that it's somewhat comparable to the way Elden Ring went. The game released, everyone played it, most people quit after one run if they were not game critics and were actually able to finish the game. Some people stayed for a few more runs, and now everyone's just waiting for the DLC, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. You don't have to have a massive, consistent player base with these type of games. You sell a full game, people enjoy the hell out of it until they're done with it, and maybe they'll come back to it in a few years, but you get what you paid for. And I'm hoping for this exact experience with Hogwarts Legacy. The game is massive, looks very good, and provides you with a lot of different ways to enjoy it. From what it looks like, the game is in good hands, and with the release coming ever so close, I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you're most excited for in Hogwarts Legacy. Peace out.